It's time to take care of business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180. Once again, here are your hosts, Marty Pay and Clay Kerner.
We are back on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180. Clay, you had a question for Shannon?
Yeah, I certainly did. Shannon, currently we have a 8.25% tax, and there's been a lot of conversation in the governor's office about extending that or even increasing it. Can you give us any insight information?
I got an email this morning that says some of the things that the governor is looking at is a 0.25% increase in the personal income tax, a reduction in a dependent credit, and an increase in a sales and use tax by 1 percentage point. And the increase in the vehicle license fees from 0.65 to 1.15. So the way I read the email that I got says that he's looking at increasing the tax rate by 1 percentage point.
So in essence, going not continuing at 8.25, but going up to 9.25?
The email I got is not specific to that, but it does say that it's going to increase it by 1 percentage point.
And how are we going to approve that? I hope the citizens have the opportunity to vote on this. And if they do, how are they going to do that?
Well, the governor's plan would have to go based on his campaign promises that any increases in taxes would have to be voted on by the people. The governor's plan would have to go to the ballot. And that's my understanding is what he is trying to do is get it on the ballot.
No, I had read it will be a mail ballot only.
Mail
I don't
ballot
mean
only.
M-A-L-E, I mean M-A-I-L.
Yeah, mail-in ballot only is what I'm understanding that it will be.
Okay.
That's going to be interesting. We have a caller on line one. Michael, you have a question on medical marijuana for our Assemblywoman, Shannon Grove? Thank you, Clay. Michael, are you there?
Saturday.
Oh,
Pardon
I'm
me?
sorry.
And enlightened so many people because she's so knowledgeable and she let the information out there to all of us, and appreciate what she's doing. But from my understanding of what she just got through saying, employees, the medical marijuana, in other words, if an employee comes to work stoned on marijuana, the employer can say, no, I'm sorry. I mean, there's nothing can really be done in sensitive jobs as far as school bus drivers transporting children. Does that still apply to them, or is there certain rules against depending on what you transport, depending on the jobs that you have?
The full language of the bill is not yet completed, but there is a small little phrase in there about environmentally safety-sensitive positions, but it truly is going to be left to the regulatory agencies to decide what is in that category.
Like anything else, though, you can't discriminate.
Can't discriminate. It's going to be a law.
Michael, thank you for the call.
Thank you, Michael.
So in other words, what you're saying, Shannon, is that okay, so let's say somebody walks in my office and they're stoned, okay? I can't necessarily fire them?
In your office, I don't think so, because we'll have to see the law plays out, but you're not definitely in an environmentally safety-sensitive position. You are in a office.
Yeah, it's an office. But, you know, I've got people that are dealing with, I mean, if somebody made a mistake, it could cost somebody $100,000, $200,000, $300,000.
Talk to Mr. Leno.
Jay Leno?
Senator Leno.
That's amazing.
It
Clay?
is amazing. It's kind of, and there's, I mean, I was thinking about I was sharing some of this ridiculous bills that were coming down with an individual last Thursday, and he said you should start the Golden Fleece Award program again. That was instituted a few years ago.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. You know, it's something that I was going to figure out, and I didn't have time this morning, but do you remember President Carter had the misery index?
No, I did not.
Okay,
I don't
it's
remember
probably.
that.
I hate to say it's before your time, but probably a little bit. When he was running against Ford, he combined. I think it was inflation and the tax rate.
I think I was in grade school.
You were in grade school, yeah. Thank you. But anyways, and it was combined to be the misery index, and the number was horrible. Well, then in 4 years when he ran against President Reagan, the misery index went up. So he dropped it, but I'm just wondering what that misery index would be today. It's got to be outrageous under President Obama.
Well, you know, we have legislation that goes through about changing California's state rock. I mean, I know that's really important, but, you know, It didn't go anywhere. But you got to understand that it cost about $14,000 to $18,000 for the legislation to go through the building. So it's a waste. I mean, to me, that's a waste of taxpayers' money. I think we should do a part-time legislature.
Yes.
They should be up there 60 days one year to do a 2-year budget and 60 days the next year to do policy. At least it would minimize the damage that they could do to the private business owner and the Californian that's paying taxes.
Definitely.
So I would really like to see a part-time legislature. And, it would help with expenses. It would help with salaries. I think you should get paid per diem to go up there for hotel and food, but it should be truly a public service position.
Well, most legislators are there for their own benefit. It's a career, and when they term out, then they move on to another position, either from the Assembly to the Senate or to the Insurance Commissioner or something else.
I introduced legislation to stop that.
Good.
I don't think any termed-out legislator should be able to go to a position appointed by a governor to any state board or commission or to work in any state board and commission unless they've been in the real world, per se, for at least 5 years.
I would bet that bill is going to die.
I would bet that it's going to die, too.
A very lonely death.
Yes.
We cannot, we cannot stand by and let individuals that are self-serving trade votes or do things that are inappropriate to the people that they represent in order to land some cush position.
Well, another frustration I've always had with that is that someone will go and run for a position while they're still in a position.
Yes.
And that way, if they don't get the new position, they can fall back. And I think if they're going to run for another state position, they should resign as an assembly person or as a senator.
We have that going on now in our very own caucus.
Why don't you bring that up?
For a mayor. Well, you only get so many bills, and I tried to stay focused on job-creating bills, easing regulatory bills, and getting jobs created in our state. And the only reason that I introduced the one bill that stopped to try to stop legislators from being able to be appointed to these state boards and commissions is because it hit home right here.
And that would, of course, if you did a bill like that would be putting people out of work. And we don't want to do that while we're trying to create jobs.
I think I'm private sector, non-taxpayer funded jobs. Let's clarify that. I want private sector, non-taxpayer funded jobs.
Non-taxpayer funded.
Yes.
Explain that.
Well, I don't think government should create jobs. I think that government jobs are taxpayer funded jobs. Private sector jobs are non-taxpayer funded jobs. It takes
and benefits and pensions.
It takes 7 private sector jobs to take care of 1 public sector job.
Oh, isn't it an ugly number? 7-to-1 ratio.
And
That's
it's
incredible.
not getting any better.
No, it's not going to get any better at all. Our in-studio guest is the 32nd Assembly District Supervisor, Assemblywoman. Sorry about that, Shannon.
That's okay.
Shannon Grove.
Marty, we only have a couple of minutes, and I think what I'd like to do is maybe leave it open for Shannon if she had something she wanted to specifically deliver to the people that are listening to the show today.
Anything in particular?
Get involved. Get involved. I got involved. I had a really good life here in Kern County, and I love this community. Get involved. Participate. Get on the phone and call every legislator up there, whether they're in your district or not. I know it'll be a few long-distance phone calls, but get involved and call them. Tell them that you don't support tax increases. They have enough of our money. They're just not being good stewards of our money. When they can transfer $50 million, $80 million, $180 million, the list goes on and on, to just do the ridiculous programs that they want to do and then just expect that they can go to the taxpayer and raise taxes is unacceptable. We formed a taxpayers caucus, and some of the things that we agreed to for this taxpayer caucus last week was to support and vote for tax cuts that create jobs and stimulate our economy. Oppose any vote for tax increases in the legislature. Oppose any votes against any legislature to place taxes on the ballot. And that one was a tough one for everybody to swallow, because we agreed to do that if there was an equal taxing decrease. So you can either vote for a 5% increase or a 5% decrease. So that was something that we thought about. The thing is that they are up there and they just pass these ridiculous laws, set up these ridiculous boards and commissions, and then they expect us, the taxpayer, to pay for it. And we need to tell them no. We need to put a flag in the ground and say absolutely, positively not. Live within your means. Stop spending money. And address your serious issues of structural inefficiencies, starting with pensions.
Mm-hmm. Starting with pensions is right. They just have too much time on their hands.
They do. We need a part-time legislature.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that. Shannon, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure, Shannon. You always bring something interesting to the conversation.
It's my granddaughter Presley Watt's first birthday, and we're having a birthday party tomorrow for her.
Oh, great. Great.
Marty's going to sing now.
Happy birthday to Presley.
No, I would definitely not sing. But I do want to do a shout-out, too. I'm going to a wedding after this. George and Helene, the very best, and we'll see you in about an hour, and we will see you in 167 hours on Taking Care of Business on Kern Radio Newstalk 1180.